Now it's a waiting game as thousands of people wait to come through the Beitbridge border post into South Africa. Making matters worse is the curfew that's been implemented in Zimbabwe and here due to the current lockdowns. Siphamandla Goge is tracking the situation at the border and joins us now live. Now, Sipa, curfew looms in both Zimbabwe and South Africa. Less than an hour remains for those who can be processed to be processed. How are things looking there now?
Well, I can tell you that things are looking different compared to what we saw earlier on. Even ourselves are shocked that it's quiet here now. My colleague Joel Matlala will show you what is happening. There is no one here at the moment. Earlier on, thousands of people had gathered here. They were stuck here trying to cross to South Africa. Some told us that they have been here for days. But now, look, it's quiet now as we speak, but there is a trick to that. The tent that you see across there that my colleague Joel Matlala is showing you, that's where many people were being screened and tested for COVID-19. We are told by our sources that the majority of those who were here earlier on and those that you had been seeing on those videos circulating on social media, including the visuals we brought you earlier on today, those thousands, the most or the majority of them did not qualify. They had to be sent back. But those who had their papers in order, they were processed and successfully cleared to enter South Africa. So they entered South Africa, but those who did not have their papers in order, they were told to go back. And that's what has cleared this area. What you are seeing here now is as a result of that operation. But immigration officials and the port management, we understand that, or should I say the border management, we understand that they had to put in additional measures because it had become a crisis from yesterday, even this morning, when thousands of people had gathered here with no social distancing, and many people were raising concerns that the event was becoming a super spreader event for COVID-19, as my colleague Joel Matlala will continue to pen and show you. There is a free movement of trucks, cars and people for now, but we understand that things may change in the morning. We understand also that from the Zimbabwean side, many people are still stuck there. There is congestion in terms of people and cars. We understand that by tomorrow 6 a.m. when people are allowed to move, because Zimbabwe has a curfew between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m., then thousands of people will come here again to try their luck again. Also in South Africa, there is a curfew between 9 p.m. and 6 a.m. So once the Zimbabwean side of the border closes at 6 p.m., there is nothing for South African authorities and immigration officials to do here, because there would be no one to process. No one will be coming from Zimbabwe, and we understand that that is one of the reasons why this area is quiet for now, not taking away from the hard work that has been done by immigration officials, SAPS, SANDF, as well as health authorities who are busy screening and testing people for COVID-19 at the Beitbridge border post.
And I mean, these are some of the things that COVID-19 has had us to get used to, Siphamandla. But what are people saying there? How long, for instance, have some of them had to wait on average?
Well, the majority of them had to wait for about 3 days. I mean, we spoke to some of them who told us that they had been waiting for 3 days. Others had had their COVID-19 test certificates expiring, and that's the frustration really. People are frustrated because they say they've spent more than 3 days waiting, but what is adding to that frustration is the fact that their COVID-19 test certificates are expiring, and then they have to be retested, and that means more wait and delays for them. Remember, we are not only talking about Zimbabweans crossing here. This border post is one of the busiest in the African continent. It's strategic to South Africa in terms of trade. This is one of those exits and entry points for South Africa to trade. But listen to what some of the people said earlier on about their frustration.
Or the president could at least extend the border hours, because we understand they are closing at 10, but now after 10 then nothing happens. Only the next morning then we are waiting for help.
Well, as our government has said, Siphan, as you have alluded, after 6 o'clock, people can no longer be assisted. How have people been spending their nights there while waiting for processing to resume the following day? I know that right now they have left, but have some of them said anything to you about having to perhaps spend the night at the border?
Indeed, we've been able to speak to some of the people, as my colleague will show you. Others are entering Zimbabwe, as you can see from the South African side. They are going inside there. Those that we have spoken to earlier on have told us that it is frustrating for them because clearly they will be spending not just one night but more nights here waiting to be processed and to cross. And there is no other way about it really. It's just to sit, wait, sleep, wait for 6 a.m., join the queue again, try your luck. If you are fortunate enough, if your papers are in order, you will be processed. But it's the question of how far are you in the queue, and that determines whether you will be processed or you will not be processed. But let me see here some of the people as we are wrapping up here. Joel is showing you what is happening here. So basically this has been the situation throughout the day when immigration officials and border management and officials together with the soldiers are dealing with people. I think these ones that you are seeing, they are going to that tent over there to have their COVID-19 certificates and papers checked. If they are not in order, then they will be assisted. Those who have their papers in order will be processed and cleared, but those who don't have their papers will be sent back to Zimbabwe as we take it back to in studio.
Well, thank you very much. That was senior reporter Siphamandla Goge coming to us live from the Beitbridge border post.